thank you for the warmth of this welcome that you extend to me in my own alma mater, and which certainly indicates the height of your intelligence quotient. I cannot tell you how happy I am that I am back in UP campus, where I spent 8 years of my adult life. UP, home of all the great presidents of our country, and certainly to be home of the next President of the Republic of the Philippines to be elected in 1992. How I wished, when I saw your young, bright faces this morning, that I could have returned to my alma mater that I love with all my heart, love with an emotion even deeper than that which I hold for my very physical survival. But even so, how I wished that when I had come here this morning, I could have offered an award or an achievement as proof of the high academic standards, the tradition of academic excellence to which you and I are subjected as UP subjects. But I bring no such trophies. Instead, I come to you in my capacity as a humble, in fact, as a humiliated UP graduate. Dahil alam naman ninyo, hindi ako nag-apply na maging Commissioner of Immigration or Deportation o maging Secretary of Agrarian Reform. At nung tinanggap ko yung katungkulang binigay sa atin ng ating Pangulo, para lamang sana ipakita sa taong bayan na tayong mga taga-UP hindi umuurong sa isang hamon. Nung tinanggap ko yung kanyang binibigay sa akin, hindi naman ako naghangad na tumagal sa gobyerno. Ganun pa man bakit sinali ako sa cabinet revamp, and so I summarily found myself kicked out of the Aquino cabinet last December. Many people know that there is graft in the country. They know that it has impoverished 64 million Filipinos. But I am here to tell you exactly what emotional and intellectual resources you have to be prepared to pay if you want to fight graft in our government, and why it is almost impossible to succeed in the attempt. Alam niyo ako, natanggal sa gobyerno nitong Disyembre dahil, sabi ng Pangulong Aquino, marami raw akong naging kalaban sa Malacanang at sa labas ng Malacanang. When I first read in the papers that I was about to be included in the cabinet revamp, my first reflex action as a trained UP law student was to obey the mandate of my leader, the head of the Executive Department of Government, for it is her exclusive prerogative, her plenary power, to determine the constitution of her official family. Ako sa kanya. With tears in my eyes, I told my president, please tell me what reason I will give to my students in the UP College of Law. For when she offered me the post of Secretary of Agrarian Reform, I had with me 2 textbooks that I used while I was teaching constitutional law that semester. I declined the offer and I said, I prefer to go now to my class in UP so that I will not be late. And so, that fateful moment, 6 months from the date, when she wanted to remove me from the cabinet, I thought of my UP students and I said, pakisabi lang mo, ano ba ang ipapaliwanag ko sa kanila? Ano ba ang pagkamali ko? Ano ba ang pagkukulang ko para naman hindi ako mapahiya? At ano, graduate pa man din ako of this, a tax-funded state institution. Gobyerno. Kako kay Pangulong Aquino, na mababa lang ang boses ko dahil nagmamakaawa lang ako. Kako sa kanya, but this is a free country. This is a democracy. Everyone is free to do as he wishes, as long as he does not violate any of our legal strictures. Kung yun pala ang hinagpis at ang inggit nila na overpublicized ako, at mayabang daw ako dahil yung law graduate ako, ay di kako, ang gamot niyan dyan ay magpa-cover din sila sa magazine, magpa-interview din sila, at magpa-cover din sila sa television para pare-pareho kaming overpublicized. Our country loses at least 2 billion pesos a year to corruption in CID alone, a minuscule segment of our bureaucracy. You can therefore realize and understand that a conservative estimate of 200 billion pesos that we lose annually to graft and corruption in this country is authentic. Paano nagkakapera sa CID? Napakadali. Under our existing laws, it is difficult for a national of China, particularly the People's Republic on the mainland, to come to the country. Our legislative policymakers have decided that it is to the best interest of our nation that we must make their entry strict and rigorous. Kaya ginagawa ng mga sindikato sa airport, nagpapapasok sila ng mga insik na hindi sila properly visaed or documented by the Philippine Consulate. In other words, they smuggle the aliens. Napakadaling mag-smuggle ng alien. Alam kong hindi ninyo alam, pero tuturuan ko kayo. Para masugpo ninyo pag tumanda na kayo. They are not allowed to come to the country because they do not have Philippine visas. So they pretend to buy an airline ticket to a neighboring country like Singapore or Indonesia, provided that there is a stopover or a layover in Manila Airport. This gives them the privilege to disembark from the airplane. All that the syndicate does is to meet them and take them to the transit lounge. There they sit until the airport is relatively deserted at maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Pag wala ng taong ganyan, ang sindikato, na 2 o 3 tao lang siguro, will walk out of the terminal building with these aliens. And they will enter the mainstream of Philippine social life, totally undetected by any of our official authorities. For this service, the syndicate charges 100,000 pesos per alien. Kaya kung makakapasok sila ng 5 dayuhan sa isang gabi, 100,000 times 5, the syndicate makes 500,000 pesos a night. And there are not 1, not 2, there are dozens of syndicates in the airport. You see, therefore, how stratified the network of corruption is in this country. Kaya ako walang ganang pumasok sa CID dahil hindi yan trabaho ng disenteng tao. Eh sabi ng Pangulo, kailangan daw tayo mga taga-UP, ang yayabang daw natin. We must put our money where our mouth is. Eka ako naman sa sarili ko, bakit hindi kami magyabang ng taga-UP? Kami, pinaghirapan namin yung grado namin yun. At kami natutuwa at pinagmamalaki na kami nakapag-eskwela dahil sa perang binabayad ng pangkaraniwang mamamayan natin. And why should it be held against me, particularly by these traditional politicians, that I like to say that I am a UP graduate without necessarily boasting about it? Why should they take it so badly, if not for the sole and stark reason that they cannot even pass the UP college entrance examinations? Ngayon, when I proposed my alien legalization program, the Senate promptly passed a resolution asking President Aquino to suspend the program without investigating the legal genesis of the program or its empirical benefits to our people. It was an anti-graft measure, and yet our Senate passed a resolution to halt it. I promised the Senate if they had only left my alien legalization program alone, I would have given the Philippine Congress a check for 2 billion pesos after 1 year, or I would resign. Yet, despite this promise,